Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes.
Snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes.
Silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites.
It was only a matter of time before they made a musical for crazy people.
I miss the mountains. I miss the dizzy heights. All the manic magic days and the dark depressing nights.
Alright, so it's not really about crazy people per se. In the nuttiest of nutshells, nutty, it's about this woman who suffers from bipolar disorder and delusions. The action of the show mostly concerns the steps that she takes to combat this, and the effects that it has on her husband and daughter. As a person who may or may not in fact have some history with depression, I have to say that some of the lyrics in this show are just amazing.
When a world that once had color fades to white and gray and black. When tomorrow terrifies you, but you'll die if you look back. You don't know. I know you don't know.
Next to Normal is one of the most challenging shows that I've ever seen on a stage. Mental illness tends to not be something that people talk about, not in open spaces, not in public forums. And this whole show is just about that. And not just that even. It's about ethics and psychiatry, whether or not medication is needed and necessary, whether or not certain illnesses can ever truly be recovered from, and the extent to which family members bear their loved ones' burdens as well.
I wish I could fly and magically appear and disappear. I wish I could fly. I'd fly far away from here.
This is one of those shows that will keep you thinking about it well after you've left the theater. It's really a simple story, plot-wise, but when you get down to it, it throws around so many concepts and ideas that you can't deal with it in one sitting. You can't.
Catch me, I'm falling.
Unresolved loss can lead
Catch
to
me,
depression,
I'm falling.
fear of loss to
Flying
anxiety.
head first into fate. Catch me, I'm
The more you
falling.
hold on to something you lost,
Please hear me
the more you
calling.
fear losing it.
Catch me.
Also, Alice Ripley is a fucking boss. So check this one out. Like, seriously, if you want to continue being my friend, check this one out.
You don't know.
Who I am,
You don't know.
you just don't know who I am.
These are a few of my favorite things. When the
Originally, when I started writing this, I thought it was going to be difficult to pick out my number one, but no, it's not. It's not difficult at all.
Do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again.
Oh, Les Miserables. It's all of the feelings. It's also kind of famous for being nearly impossible to summarize in a concise manner. But I guess that's what you get when you try to adapt a musical from a book that's this friggin' long. But let's give it a shot. This is our main character, Jean Valjean. He's an ex-convict who has devoted his life to being the nicest guy in France after he found the Jesus. This is our antagonist, Inspector Javert, who spends the entire show trying to arrest Valjean because he skipped his parole. Partway through Act 1, Valjean adopts the orphan daughter of a dead hooker. She grows up, No, like seriously, the plot of this show spans like 20 years. So she grows up and falls in love with this guy, who is best friends with this guy, who is going to lead a student revolution against the government that becomes the main action of Act 2. And there's also this other girl who's been in love with the first guy since they were children, but he's kind of dumb and at this point way too starstruck with girl A to be bothered to notice.
And I saw through a world that is new, that is free.
Every word that he says is a dagger in me.
Also, her parents get the only happy, jaunty tune in the whole show. Even if you think you are not familiar with this show, I promise you, you are familiar with this show. At least with some of its songs. Les Mis, by this point, has just leaked all over the popular culture. Like, there's this one song.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by, when hope was high and life worth living.
And this song.
On my own, pretending he's beside me. All alone, I walk.
Will you stop that?
And when I lose my way, I close my eyes, and he has found me.
Though, my absolute favorite is probably this other kind of famous one.
The summer's day, one by one, how soon they fly, one and all, and I am old, and will be gone.
Usually I have to be real careful about who I watch this one with, because there's always a point, I won't say exactly when my emotions just run everywhere. But this is just the kind of show that does that. It has all of these characters who have really interesting and well-crafted relationships with each other, which is impressive since there's so many of them and so much shit happens in this show. That's why this story works so well as a musical. So much emotion can be conveyed through song while still moving the plot forward. It's like, if the actors were just standing around saying these lines, it wouldn't hit you in your feelings near as much as...
One more day before the storm,
I follow where she goes.
at the barricades of freedom,
Shall I join my brothers there?
that does. So you can imagine how excited I was when I saw that they are finally adapting the musical into a movie.
I had a dream my life would be so different from this hell I'm living, so different now from what it seemed.
Woo! Whether or not Les Mis is objectively the greatest musical ever is probably something that could be debated. But it's certainly my favorite musical ever. And I will never, ever, ever tire of it, and I will never, ever, ever stop playing it. And I apologize to anyone who might someday live with me, because I will be really annoying with it, and I'm so very sorry.